Welcome to the A Year in Marvel podcast, hosted by Minorities Report. My name is Antonio Alcazar.
And I'm your boy, Technor.
And this is the review of the last episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. You guys ready?
Yo, I'm ready.
Man, this episode. What an episode.
Yeah, man. It was an interesting episode, that's for sure.
Let's talk, Jason. You and I, heart to heart in our safe space.
Safe space.
Did you like this episode?
It would be erroneous for me to say I enjoyed this episode. It would be foolish for me to say I enjoyed this episode.
Yeah, man. You know, so I didn't like this episode either. And can I? I've been thinking. What?
You didn't let me finish.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no. Please, no.
This show with this episode capped off being my favorite thing I've ever seen.
You're so fucking crazy, dude. How did you like this episode?
I liked literally every single thing about it.
Can I tell you? Okay, so like, before you go on and make me angry and then we fight, let me just explain to you the things that I've been thinking about this episode in the negative.
Sure.
And then I'd love to hear the positive, right? So the thing that I've been thinking about this episode was that I think the reason that Falcon and the Winter Soldier and WandaVision kind of let me down in the end is because I feel like the way that they do these shows, the way that they structure these shows, is that Disney or Marvel, like the board, the controlling board, the background shadow people, go, this needs to finish like this. The last episode needs to set up Captain America Falcon, and like these are the points that you have to hit in the end, and then just make whatever show you want up until that point. And then so the writers that are very clearly talented have to be working within these confines, and then they have some ability to do some really great stuff throughout the season, but then it has to end in this predestined way, and it sometimes doesn't fit what the show was kind of like putting together as it was going, or at the very least, it doesn't have room for the nuance that the show had set up at the end, because it's just like, okay, so we have to hit these fucking story beats, and we have an hour to do it. And so when I was watching this show, especially at episode 4, I was really happy with it. I'm like, wow, this is really good. And then we had a really like good character episode, episode 5, and then episode 6. It was just like, okay, here's Disney again, and I just didn't really enjoy it. Like the Zemo was gone, and he was like really one of the main drivers of the show's fun for me, and he was just like completely non-existent. He had a great character the whole time, and we didn't get anything from him in the last episode. All of the Flag Smashers kind of just became mustache twirling villains, even though they were pretty nuanced leading up. Falcon, okay, he had I guess a cool showing in the last episode, although I thought it was pretty bland, a little generic, a little preachy in a way that the show had done well up until this episode. And then in this episode, it was just like 5 minutes of him talking to the camera. And then, I don't know. I just like, those are my issues with it. John Walker, had kind of an interesting kind of end. I don't know. Like, I just feel like the end was like, no, I'm a good guy. Sorry about it. Sorry about all that leading up to this. I'm good though. We're all fine. And everyone just kind of shook hands and hugged. I don't know. Like, I felt like a lot of this was like, just very, okay, all right, I guess this is how they finish this. None of it was exciting or challenging or anything like that, which the show had been up until now. That's the only reason I say that, is because up until now, the show had been pretty exciting and challenging. There was some stuff that, made you think. And at the end, it was just like, okay, well, this is how we finished it. So, those are my thoughts. Go ahead. I'd love to hear what you think.
Did you, before watching this, did you rewatch Zack Snyder's Justice League or something?
Why are you like this to me?
I could not disagree with you.
Yeah, clearly,
more
obviously.
strongly.
Sure,
than
yeah.
I do right now.
Okay.
Almost everything you said, I disagree with.
Okay.
Baron Zemo isn't made to be a main character in the show. He was supposed to be here for a little while. He was here for a little while, and then he moved on. There was no need for Zemo.
He was
to be
here for a good time, not a long time.
He was here for 4 episodes. He didn't need to be here for more than 4 episodes. He wasn't in the first one, and he wasn't in the last one.
All right.
The show isn't about Baron Zemo. The only character that I was kind of meh on was Sharon.
Oh yeah, I totally forgot, dude. That's how forgettable that was.
Yeah.
If Sharon ended up being the power broker.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
We, talked about that.
We talked about how that would be a clown show. We literally in one episode, I said well, Sharon could be the power broker, and you were just like, "They're not going to do that." And
No,
I'm just
I think I didn't. I say that wouldn't surprise me if she was the power broker.
I don't think so.
I'm pretty sure if we go back,
we'll
rewind
go back.
the tape.
We'll rewind the tapes. Yeah. I think I got the receipts.
In the words of one of my friends, you can click that right here, pachow. But seriously though, I was kind of indifferent to that. I loved just about everything throughout this episode.
Sure.
Falcon showing, dude, when he shows up as Cap, man, he smashes through that window and they play the music, and I was like, hold on, beep, beep, rewound it, watched it again, rewound it, watched it again.
Wow,
loved it.
really?
Loved him showing up like that. You have the callback to that French dude that was in Winter Soldier, and he was in the first episode. What is that guy's name? He has a name, doesn't he? Like Ballbag or some shit like that. The French guy.
Yeah, he's a character.
Yeah, he's got like Ballbag or some shit.
Yeah, all I know is that he's that fucking French guy.
Yeah. So whooped his ass, got him out of there.
Also, I've been censured from talking about who these people are outside of these fucking shows.
Well, he's been in this before. I'm perfectly okay. What he's referring to is outside of the show, I brought up that he revealed to me who Elaine's character is. Elaine, obviously, being Julian Dreyfus, yes. And
the reason I did that is because I've never watched Seinfeld, and when he referred to her as Elaine, it just kind of like didn't click.
There's no
with me
way
that
you didn't know that was her name, though.
I later found out that was her name, and when he said, "Oh, I couldn't believe that she was here," his excitement for some reason in my mind was coded as him having recognized the character, and then that's why I was just like, "Oh yeah, for sure, Lady Hydra."
No.
Later on, he was just like, "You ruined that for me because I didn't know who that was."
The reason why it's great is, or I had liked it so much, is because that actress is an outstanding actress who brings a lot of likability, almost like on a Robert Downey Jr. level.
Yes, yeah.
So
she's got a ton of on-screen charisma.
I don't think this is going to play. I think this is going to be more like Norman Osborn, Iron Patriot, than Madam Hydra sort of character.
Okay,
because I think they're
so I don't know much about the
Dark Avengers.
But U.S. Agent is
he was one of them.
Got it. Okay,
and Norman Osborn was the like Iron Man character, and he was very charismatic.
Patriot,
that was where Iron Patriot, the character, first came from.
Yeah,
he was very.
they can
repurpose
the name Iron Patriot.
Yeah,
because they're repurposing the Mandarin, the Mandarin for Shang-Chi.
Really?
Mm-hmm. He's going to be one of the bad guys in Shang-Chi.
I'll believe that when I see it, because
they've already announced it.
I don't read any of that shit. I watch the stuff as it comes to me.
What I'm saying is, you don't have to believe it when you see it. I'm telling you, that's going to be a character in that
when
show.
it's on the screen. I'll believe it. I hope it's played by Ben Kingsley.
It's not Ben Kingsley.
Thank God. So back to the stuff with that. So then the stuff with the Flag Smashers. They're here to be the villain in the long run, but a complicated villain in the long run, just like her character was in Solo as well. Although they played her as a hero in Solo, a reluctant. She was like the Han Solo of the movie Solo, right? This one, they played her more as the revolutionary who's willing to go too far, which is always a weird one to like kind of come to grips with. Because, like, were, the French freedom fighters fighting against the Nazis going too far with some of the stuff they did? Well, they were fighting against the Nazis, like people who do horrific things. I think that weird line comes into, like, what you're willing to do with people who are bystanders that often is where we kind of cut the cord at some point in time. Like, Timothy McVeigh or something like that. He is an abominable terrorist because he killed like family members of like government officials and whatnot in Oklahoma City and like children and stuff like that. I think we're more willing to look at somebody as a freedom fighter. First of all, if we disagree with the person that they're fighting against, obviously,
yeah, of course.
That's human nature to be cartoonish clowns when it comes to this stuff. And you look at like the Taliban, for instance, like when they were doing terrible shit to the Russians, we were like, we like those guys and we'll even fund them. Yeah. They do the literal exact same thing to us, and now these are terrorists that need to be taken care of. So it's one of those weird things, when it comes to people of that nature, but they play her as, even the other flag smashers are like not really wanting to go as far as she wants.
Everyone else was like, I don't know, man.
I don't know about this exactly. Where she's like, no, we're gonna do this shit. So, who was the guy that blew them up?
The guy who blew them up?
Yeah, the old. dude?
That was Zemo. That was the old man. His butler. That was Alfred.
Oh yeah. Okay, I didn't recognize him at first, but okay, I like that.
That was he was on the airplane with him.
Yeah, no, now I remember. So that was good.
They immediately afterwards show Zemo in his cell, and he's just like, "Oh yeah, I did that," and he's kind of like lays down.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, okay, cool, like it. Stuff with Winter Soldier. I liked that stuff. He was able to take care of his list like we knew he was going to do. I mean, that's obvious.
I would have loved to have seen the emotional repercussions of that conversation instead of just like,
we do.
No. He just leaves immediately. He says the thing and then he walks out. Yep. I would have loved to have seen that moment. The actual friction that would have caused, the hurt, like that could have been cathartic. That could have been a better scene.
No, that's voyeurism.
Voyeurism.
You're able to.
The whole point of that scene was to have that cathartic moment.
He's not able to go into like the restaurant that like he's been frequenting, and I mean he gives that knowing look back and forth to the woman.
He can't eat there anymore.
It's more. That's such a childish reading of that shit. It's not that he can't eat there anymore. He's no longer able to go in this place of comfort and whatnot, and.
My eyes roll into the back of my head.
She gives him that knowing.
I wanted him to have to.
This is ridiculous.
I wanted him to have to experience real repercussions.
He did.
I didn't get to see it, so it's like it didn't happen.
That's voyeur. You don't need to see it, dude. You can put two and two together. You don't need to see the spin, the top fall over.
Dude,
for
are you
Leo,
kidding me?
dude.
It's like the Chitauri invasion happens, and it just cuts the black and
No,
it's
get
over.
the fuck out
and
of
it's just
here.
like, no, why would you need to see that? It happened.
Yeah, actually,
the point is the resolution.
Funny that you bring that up.
What?
That was great comparison because I will compare that what you just did to Game of Thrones. The one of the best things season 1 did Game of Thrones is they show you the start of the Battle of Whispering Woods and then they cut it and they don't show you anything of the Battle of Whispering Woods because the actual battle does not matter. It's the result and what happens afterwards that matters. Same thing with this. It doesn't matter if the guy screams and gets in his face or starts crying.
It's that the entire time Bucky is reluctant to do this because he can't confront the actual experience of having to be there present in the moment while somebody looks at him knowing that he was the one responsible for his son's death. That thing was the thing that he was avoiding the entire time. He didn't want to come to terms with it. He didn't want to have to deal with it. He'd rather just avenge instead of actually deal with the moment of actually having to come to terms with the fact that he did that stuff to the person he did it to. Yeah. And then when he finally was just like, okay, I'm going to come to terms with it, I'm going to do it. I didn't get to see him have to deal with it. I just have to assume that he dealt with it fine.
He's sitting there. He reveals it. They play some kind of music. They slowly move him out. So clearly he's been there for a few minutes. It's not like he was like, hey, bro, killed your son, and then just walked the fuck out. That's not at all what happens in that scene.
Jumped out a window.
Of course, I mean, like, so I definitely got emotional, cried multiple times in this movie.
Okay.
Or this episode.
Which one?
I got moved by what you would call Sam's, like, overdone preaching. I loved that
when
scene.
he was looking at the camera talking to you directly, he was just pointing at you.
Yeah.
We need to do better. Yeah. How much better? Not sure. That's a nebulous answer. But we do need to do better.
Yeah.
I was just like, okay, guys.
Great scene. The whole...
that might as well have been you saying that.
It's a very meta scene, too, because, like...
wait, the scene where he was talking to the audience was meta?
It's beyond that, because, like... He's like, look, dude, I know some of you are going to have a problem with me being Captain America because I'm a black man being Captain America, which is like pointed directly at the Reddit jackasses out there that are like, you made Captain America black. I'm gonna cry.
I think you
and
mean
stuff
Parler,
like that, so.
not Reddit. Reddit is pretty white knighty.
Oh, okay, cool. I like Reddit better than Parler now. So I don't know the difference between all these things. I don't use all these things.
No, of course, because you're of an older generation.
Yes. So it's a push for me to use Facebook. So I liked that scene.
Right.
Obviously,
I've seen you on Facebook. It doesn't look like it's a push.
And then the two scenes that, of course, got me like to the point of straight up tears was obviously the reveal of Isaiah's like bronze statue. Like even now that like moves me a little bit because of course like I know like a child like you would be like, well, I mean, I get emotional at every Marvel movie, you know, and that's cool.
You know, I didn't actually get emotional at all during this episode
because it's not even like a scene that's important to Marvel. You cry over the Marvel shit because it's important to like the Marvel storyline that you've created in your head. This scene is important to real life because this is a clear analogy.
I don't think that representation of the reason that I get emotional is accurate. I can't think of any examples in how it's not,
because this is not. This has nothing to do with Marvel and everything to do with real life.
Okay,
because this is an analogy to.
But it's the analogies that hurt.
Fucking yay! This is an analogy to it. What? No. All right. So, to back up, you have created this world of Marvel that you enjoy, and when something
affects the world.
Affects that world.
Yeah.
That emotionally moves you.
Okay.
This is not something that affects that world. Isaiah's scene does not affect that world of the Marvel MCU. Sure. He's a character that was just created for this show.
Yeah, yeah.
It's an analogy for black service members that were denied their their just reward or recognition for when they came home. And this is very much a scene to symbolize the Tuskegee Airmen statues and the statues towards all these African Americans that did tremendous things for the country and were never recognized until way too late in their life. Many post their passing, okay? Yeah. So many of these guys never even got to see it at the time. Yeah. And that's what
they literally sacrificed everything and got no recognition.
Exactly. Yeah. And that moment has nothing to do with MCU and everything to do with real life. Sure, so that's I really loved that scene. And then of course the reveal of Captain America and the Winter Soldier that just got me emotional right there. Yeah, because it's just like
they changed a bunch of stuff like elsewhere too on websites and things like that. Wherever it shows Captain America now it shows Falcon. Well, it shows Sam.
It says show Sam as Captain America now. I know, and I love it, man. I love this episode so much. It was everything I wanted. They stuck the landing completely. Like there was nothing that I wanted from this that didn't happen. Like even like I like that they only had the one little Sharon scene afterwards or whatnot. Because of course it's leading towards a secret invasion and all that type of shit. And I'm fine with that. Whatever. But it wasn't. This didn't feel like. This had more to it to me than like WandaVision, because WandaVision really felt like a bridge that was just getting Wanda to her more powerful self that she's now going to interact with in the MCU.
Sure, yeah.
This did that by creating your new Captain America, but it also created a story with Sam and Bucky, to bring something more than just here's a bridge to the next thing going on, for me at least. I know some other people might disagree or feel differently about it, but I thought all of that was great.
As that I'm totally down for it. Like the Captain America transition needed something like this. Sure. Nice little story for how it happened. Sure. Can't wait to see him in the future movies as Captain America. I think the future of the cinematic MCU is going to be really weird. Like it's such a different landscape now. Sure. It's like through phase 1, 2, 3, and 4, it is way different this is phase 4, right?
Yeah.
Phase 1, 2, and 3 were like entirely different universes now.
Sure.
Whereas now this is like like all of barely anybody from the original crew is still around. So like I don't know how the weight of these new characters is going to play in the cinematic universe. Especially since all of the stuff that's coming up is super like, I don't know, all over the place kind of feeling.
Especially this year, right?
Yeah, for sure.
The only one that's like one that's really in the important character group probably to me.
And that's super
is
in quotes.
Doctor Strange.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
multiverse.
Because like Black Widow is just a capper to the old stuff.
Sure. Yeah.
I know that technically it's the first film of Phase 4,
sure.
but it's really feels like a capper to the old universe. And then you have Shang-Chi, Eternals, and then Doctor Strange is the first one that really...
no, and Spider-Man. We'll have Spider-Man at the end.
This year?
Yeah. Spider-Man No Way Home is at the end of this year.
No way.
Yeah, it's December. That's the last one of the year.
Yeah, okay. Because they're not going to do like a...
Multiverse of Madness isn't until next year.
This year would usually be a Star Wars release in December.
Yeah.
And so since there is no Star Wars release for another 2 years...
We get 4 cinematic Marvel movies.
That's 5.
4. Because Multiverse of Madness isn't until next year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. I thought Multiverse was this year.
No.
All right, no, okay.
No,
So
this
then
year
that's
it's Black
next
Widow, Shang-Chi, Eternals, and Spider-Man.
When is Multiverse of Madness then?
No, early next year.
Early, okay.
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
It's
That
the first
makes
one
sense.
of next year.
That makes sense. Okay. So, yeah, I'll say this, though. Like, as much as I absolutely loved this show, I'm ready for a break, bro. Like...
And we get a couple weeks now, right?
It's more than that because, okay, so we got...
When does Black Widow come out?
A couple weeks till Black Widow comes out,
Yeah.
but then it's like a month and a half until Loki after that.
No way.
Yeah, like July.
Really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. It's either late June or early July.
Give me 1 second. Let me check here.
Go ahead.
Black Widow is July 9th?
Oh, Black Widow is July 9th?
Yeah.
I thought it was... Oh, because it got moved again. That's right, because it was originally going to be May. And when is Loki?
June 11th.
June 11th. So we have basically 2 months. No, all of
a month and a half.
and like a week.
Yeah.
2 weeks. This week, because there's nothing this week, all of May,
Yeah.
another week. So, so it's basically like a month and a half.
A month and a half, you won't be getting a This Week in Marvel, or I mean a Year in Marvel episode.
Woo.
And then we come back for Loki.
Yep.
And then we'll hit up Black Widow when that comes out too.
Yeah,
Wow,
yeah.
what a little break. It's and you know what? Okay. Let's do a break.
Yeah.
I'm actually
Yeah, I mean, because think about it like this. We had like, what was it, 9 episodes of WandaVision.
Mm-hmm. And then 6 more.
6 episodes of this, which were all like 45 minutes or more.
It was
So-
6 hours and then like 6 hours.
Yeah,
pretty
just
much.
about.
Yeah, for sure.
5.5 to 6 hours ish. So like, that's enough Marvel for a little bit.
It was a lot,
Like,
yeah. Back to
exactly.
back.
With 1 week in between the two of them.
Sure,
So
yeah.
man, I
Do a month break.
yeah, I'm definitely good with a month of not talking about Marvel stuff. It's not even talking about it. Like I don't have any problem talking about it. It's more like the watching of it.
Yeah,
every week.
Step
Just
outside
like,
of the universe for a moment and breathe. Yeah, you know what? I feel like this is interesting too, right? Because I feel like with the year that we took off, my love for what had existed already in the Marvel universe got so like hyperbolized. It was so at its peak, you know, because during the quarantine or during the pandemic year, I rewatched all 22 Marvel movies.
Yep.
And man, I just remember feeling like what an absolutely earned love I had for these movies.
Sure.
Because it's such just a blast of a universe.
Sure.
And then I couldn't wait for more, like we took a whole fucking year off, but I can't wait for more. And now that I've been given more, I feel like this is just a part of my life that I enjoy, but I don't feel the excitement for it anymore.
Sure.
It's just like, oh, cool, hell yeah, I get another Marvel
what I
movie.
think it's-
and I enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's not like I don't enjoy it. I love it. But like, I'm not like excited about it.
It's
where I
almost-
used to like when Endgame was going to come out. I was like, oh my fucking god, I can't wait.
Sure.
And okay, so Endgame, you might say, well, it's the end cap, right? 10 years. But then even when I was going to go see Spider-Man Far
Infinity
From
War
Home,
was 10 years.
Sure. But even when I was going to go see Spider-Man Far From Home, I was just like, fuck yes, I can't wait to go see this movie. And I watched it and I enjoyed it. But like now I don't really get that,
You know
when
what
Loki's
it
coming
is?
up, I'm just like, hell yeah, I'll watch Loki.
At one point in time, this is a lot of things in life for me too. At one point in time, you were addicted to this.
Sure.
You were
But I didn't get a lot
addiction.
of it. Yeah.
Right. And then you broke that addiction because nothing came that was coming. Now you're able to take it more easily because like it's kind of like if you eat fucking pizza and you constantly eat pizza all the time. Pizza's great. It is great. And you regularly eat pizza and then just go for like 3 months without eating pizza once. You'll still come back enjoying pizza, but you'll never eat it every day again.
Well, I almost see it more as like a long-term relationship.
Sure.
Where like, when you first start a long-term relationship, at the beginning stages of a relationship. It's super fun. You can't wait to see that person again. And then once you've like been married, you're just like, okay, well, this is just a part of my life, and I enjoy it, but it's just a part of my life. I'm not excited about it. This is just my life now.
I think like also because of the way things came out. Like I think about like the most exciting thing in my life, like when it came to like cinema and stuff like that, was definitely Game of Thrones. And it was like so much so that like even after Game of Thrones was over, or even in the last season when it started coming out in the summertime, it disturbed me that like, because like we would in Wisconsin, obviously we have shitty winters, but like as winter started to like wane, part of that winter waning was it's almost Game of Thrones time, man. And it's like the time when you're like, all right, back to regular life, back to like going outside again. Game of Thrones every Sunday.
They were like year markers for a little while.
Yeah, for sure, brother. Yeah. And like for like a good 6 years, right? Because
leading up to Game of Thrones time, especially around season 4, season 5,
right?
Like, dude, like I was just like, give me some Game of Thrones,
man. It was like the people that we were embedded with were all also into Game of Thrones. So like everybody was talking about it online, like, all right, let's get ready.
Dude,
here we
I was
go.
talking about it at work. I was talking about it with my friends, dude, everywhere. Yeah,
absolutely. So,
dude, Game of Thrones was such a fucking event, man. Way to shit the bed with one of the most commercially successful properties of all time.
Yeah, and then just be forgotten about.
Yeah, dude, literally, not just like you didn't just shit the bed, you like diarrhea'd the bed.
That's why, like, I think that they're doing such work now to even with how bad it ended, they're like going out of their way to like remind everybody this is the Iron Anniversary, it's 10th anniversary of Game of Thrones.
I'm surprised that HBO didn't straight up sue David Benioff and that other guy. Like I would have just been like, no, man, we gave you. You literally had a contractual obligation to do this fucking show, and you phoned it in, and fuck you for that. You know, like, because that was, they were like, what, $10 million an episode on that shit? That. That's crazy to me, man. And they should have just fired the fucking writers and just gotten new people.
I mean, if they were offered done, that, the Double D's offered to walk away, and HBO didn't want to, because like
whatever happened behind the scenes is fucking dumb.
You know what it is? Mostly it's old person money, right? Old people making decisions because they don't want to rock the boat, because they're like, well, look at season 4 and 5 and 6, and they did this stuff. So like, then 7 wasn't even that terrible. They were like, okay, all right, like this. Well, we want 2 more seasons out of you. I'll give you 6 more episodes. Like,
and they were like, we're done.
Right.
I cannot express to you enough how fucking much I don't care right now. And
it's shocking to me that they couldn't just go the same thing George did and go, okay, you know what? You guys are done? Cool. We're going to take off for 3 years, do a time jump, and then anyone we have to recast, we will recast, and everybody else will just time jump them.
If they were going to give me some quality, whatever.
And like, imagine if like this coming year, instead of House of the Dragon, season 7 and 8 were coming for Game of Thrones with that time jump of 5 years, because that's what
really well done,
right? And that's what happened in the books, anyways. They did a 5-year time jump, so like, you could have done that, but like the one
they did a 5-year time jump in the book.
They do like a time jump between was it Clash? What's the third book? Clash of Kings.
Okay,
or is it Game of Thrones? Clash of Kings, Storm of Swords, right?
Yeah.
Between that and Feast of Crows, there's a time jump.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, you could have done that. You could have done a lot of things.
I thought Feast for Crows was just like, this is happening during that other stuff. It was just like alternate points of view.
That's the other 2 books. Feast of Crows and Dance of Dragons are the ones that happen between each other.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So they're happening at the same time. Sure. So, but it's post, like, we're well into Tommen's rule or whatever at that point in time. So, man, I don't know. Game of Thrones. Well, we're kind of off a track here a little bit, but
we kind of
All right, so with no Marvel coming down the pipeline anytime soon, we still got to talk about something. So we're going to do something special coming up here. If you haven't watched it before, you are really missing out. HBO did a season, a miniseries basically, of a follow-up to the comic book, the famous comic book Watchmen. So, have you read that graphic novel? I'm sure you have, right? Yeah. Okay. So,
Watchmen was like one of my things when I was young. That was like a thing that I read early.
Yeah.
And then Watchmen came out.
Yeah.
And I was just like, this is pretty good. I like that.
Yeah.
And then I grew up a little bit and watched Watchmen again. I was just like, oh, this is dog shit. This is so bad.
Yeah.
I was just kind of like more impressed visually with it when it first came out. And then after some time, I watched it again and I'm like, no, this is jarring and ugly.
And didn't you rewatch it when we were watching the show live?
I think so, yeah, around there. Every now and then I get like the curiosity to
rewatch
confirm whether or not I was right or wrong about what I thought about it.
I've done this too.
So I'll just rewatch it, and then I'm always just like, oh no, this was dog shit. This was really bad. Although now after Justice League, maybe I'll go back and rewatch it, and I'll be like, no, this was good actually.
No, don't do it. Don't do that.
But yeah, and then Watchmen, when it came out, I was very excited about it because I'm a huge fan of Alan Moore's.
Was that last year or 2 years ago?
2 years ago.
Okay, yeah. So I always get confused because of 2020, but so
2020 was such a like a blackout year.
Yeah, exactly. So since I'm
ready for some Lube Man again, though.
Oh, and that's one of the things we want. I kind of want to rewatch the show.
Yeah,
and so we're gonna cover that. Actually, we're gonna just do a single episode talking about the season, basically, kind of wrap everything up. And if you haven't read the comic book for some reason, the original, or you haven't seen the Zack Snyder film version of it, I would maybe give that a shot.
And honestly, the Zack Snyder film, if you watch that, it is to its detriment pretty 1-to-1 with the comic.
Yeah.
You do get most of what the comic is trying to say. They slip up the end.
The big bad end.
The big bad end. They slip it up a little bit in a way that doesn't make as much sense as it does in the comics.
Right.
But if you just watch the movie, you're essentially getting the comic. That was actually, to its detriment, one of the things that I didn't like about the movie.
Right. And I mean, that's what Alan Moore was like, this should never become a film.
Sure,
and Zack Snyder thought, that's a challenge.
Yeah.
So, and if you just watch the Zack Snyder, when you show up for our podcast, I can quickly explain the differences, because there's only one real main difference.
Yeah.
And
in fact, if maybe we can just kind of do like a Watchmen episode where we talk about the comic, the movie, and the show all at once.
Yeah, that's fine.
You do that?
Yeah.
Okay. That would be cool. That would be because now we can like do like a special Watchmen episode where we just talk about the Watchmen.
Hell yeah, man. Because who is watching the Watchmen? Fuck, man. We got to ask that question.
Especially now.
Right. Ask that question every day of the week. And that's one of the reasons this podcast exists. So this is definitely up our river here. So we're gonna cover this, and then we'll be going forward from there. Yeah,
for sure. All right. Have an awesome week, everybody. Hope you enjoyed, honestly, Falcon and the Winter Soldier. We enjoyed it. Jason maybe a little bit more than me, but I wasn't trying to talk shit. It was a good show. See you guys at an undisclosed time in the future for our special Watchmen episode.
We'll be back.
Have a great week, everybody.